Today we're going to be checking out my new Himo Z20 Max e-bike. The Himo Z20 has been around for a number of years, but this is the new and improved Himo Z20 Max. It features a 250 watt motor, has removed the throttle and finally has received its CE certification. The most important part of this update is that CE certification. It's legally now conforming to health and safety standards within Europe and also the environmental protection standards. So if the police stop you going down the road, it has a top speed of 25 kilometers per hour, has a 250 watt motor, has no throttle, so technically it is not a mechanically propelled vehicle. So you shouldn't have any issues in your home country and have no problem cycling this around. I purchased a bike from geekbuying.com. It was one of the only sites I could see that was selling the Himo Z20, and the promotion was unreal on the front page, which included a free battery worth €330 and the bike for only €960. Now the issue with this is that promotion had actually ended and they had it incorrectly posted on the site still. They didn't respect that they had made the issue and they only gave me €50 of a discount and didn't include that free battery. Delivery was great. It did arrive in 4 days only. The bike was perfectly safe, nothing broken. Okay, there was 2 or 3 scratches on the frame, small ones, towards the rear of the bike, but the bike is still perfect, so I'm happy. And assembly was quite easy except for the stem. Trying to understand how the stem mechanism tightened to the frame was a bit weird, I have to say, because I've never seen it before. But as you tighten the screw on the top, it pushes the silver part that's underneath the stem to the right, which clamps within inside the frame, and it is very, very good because after 500 kilometers I've no sounds, no rattling at all, and I have to say I'm really pleased with the ride quality so far. First, looking at the bike, I think it's one of the best foldable looking bikes I've seen out there, and I've got many comments already asking where I bought the bike, how much the bike was, can they get their hands on it, am I selling it? So this has just showing me that this bike is not only attractive to me, but it's attractive to many others out there. If you look at the 20-inch BMX tires, I think they're really aggressive and slick, and I believe they make the bike what it is. The mechanical disc brakes, they're not great. You know, we'll talk about them maybe a bit later. You have the classic front headlight, you know, it is what it is. The mud guards that actually come free with the bike, I put the rear one on. It looks really nice, it adds to the stylish look, and you have a cool pump within the saddle itself. You know, don't ask me how they thought of all this. They also have foldable pedals and a kickstand, and then the stem itself, which has a really strong safety latch, just the same as the one within the center of the bike. What I was really pleasantly surprised about and happy to see was that the wiring of the bike is very secure. In all areas where the frame folds, none of the wires are getting nicked or clipped in any areas. They're really well wrapped. They have like a mesh and also a plastic wrap around, so you shouldn't have any issues when you're folding it and put it in the back of your car. So onto the display, you can see I just powered it on here with the right button just underneath the display. Then you have your plus and minus, which goes through the modes eco, medium and high. You also have a trip meter and an odometer, which is really nice that they included these 2 simple things. Also, the display is highly visible in daytime and also nighttime, and then you can see your battery gauge on the right. And not to mention, the bike is actually IPX7 waterproof, which means it can be submerged in water of up to 1 meter, or so the internet says. So where this bike tends to lack is actually going up hills because of the 250 watt motor. You know, it gives you a bit of help, but it does slow you down to around 12 kilometers per hour, whereas the Fido is probably getting around 20 going uphill. Yeah, it's quite rugged. I just can't believe you know, for the price. A lot of people say it's expensive, but you're getting a good bike that's foldable and has an electric motor. If you go to Giant's website, all the bikes are sold out and they're costing 3.5 grand at least. So downhill descents, you're not going to be competing against normal bikes. It's still fast enough. Like the fastest I reached was 42 kilometers per hour so far. And it does freewheel, unlike the Fido. But as you soon realize, freewheeling isn't that great when your bike weighs 22 kg. An amazing bike, very solid, but definitely just for cruising. So like Sunday cycles, commuting to work, short distance, maybe 10 kilometers. Otherwise the saddle gets a bit tough. That's what this bike is all about. If you don't want to get a sore backside or have any shoulder stiffness or pains in your palms, I suggest changing saddle and grips in most budget bikes. .25, just about. So it took that long to hit 25 kilometers per hour, and that's the max. If you want to go any faster, it is really difficult, and frankly, just not worth it. So here we have a 4% grade. We're going up at 19.3 kilometers per hour, and this is kind of like a fast, relaxed pace. So I wouldn't think you could go any faster up this hill unless you started sweating it a bit. But as you can see, like, to have a struggle at 4%, it's not going to do an amazing job. And I wish there was a 350 watt motor. I think that would be perfect, and a top speed of maybe 30 kilometers per hour instead of the 25. So at the moment we actually have a 9% grade, and I'm going 11.3 kilometers per hour. That is how bad it is. I am sweating, and this is not fun. I literally feel like there's no power here at all, no assistance. I have it in the lowest gear, gear 1, and yeah, whew. So that's the hill we just went up. It ranged between 9 and 14%, and literally when it was 14%, I was pushing like 90%, 95% of my total effort. It was a lot tougher than a normal bike. So that's it for this review. I forgot to mention, of course, that the range I'm typically getting over the past 2 weeks is around 35 kilometers on high mode. Don't even bother with eco and medium, because you don't feel that they're helping you at all, and it's pretty much not an e-bike in them modes, in my opinion. You can gather your own thoughts from the clips I've shown you, and let me know in the comment section if you're going to buy it, if you're not, and what you overall think about the bike. But as far as I can see, the quality is amazing, and the 11 amp hour battery is decent.